A quick shout out to Pastor Dean Odell, who was the first to expose many of these documents on June 10th, 2018. If you want to check out his website, you can go to www.deanodell.org. So let's go ahead and dive into these documents. I'm here to share with you 44 different documents from the governments whereby they admit the Earth is flat. Documents from the CIA, USSR, U.S. Army, NASA, Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, U.S. Navy, National Imagery and Mapping Agency, National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, and the U.S. Marine Corps, which includes state-owned universities such as UCLA, Penn State, and Shenyang Aerospace University. Government admits flat Earth document number 1, put out by the CIA, whereby it looks like they stole it from the USSR, and this document was created, appears to be sometime around March of 1957, and you'll notice that in the bottom left-hand corner you'll see the title of the document, the author, if there is one cited, unless there's a ton of them, and I'm not going to list them all. And then you have the URL of this document, so if you want to go download it yourself, you're able to. And when I go through these documents themselves, you'll see on the bottom right-hand corner is the page number where you can find these phrases and words cited. So beginning with page 19 of 100 for this dissertation, there's the brightness of the firmament. The firmament is a biblical term which is mentioned in Genesis chapter 1 8 different times, and beginning with verse 6. And the firmament was made to divide and separate the waters from above from below, as well as the sun, moon, and stars are placed within the firmament. So please go reread Genesis chapter 1. The firmament is also mentioned on page 20. Also, a near sun, which means localized sun, is mentioned. And it talks about the brightness of the first order and derived on the assumption of a flat Earth, and giving some conclusions derived on the basis of this formula. So the formula is based upon the assumption of a flat Earth. There's a near sun, and there's a firmament, apparently. Government admits flat Earth document number 2, propagation of electromagnetic fields over flat Earth. You'll notice that on page 7, it says flat idealized Earth. On page 17, flat Earth. Page 18, flat Earth. Page 28, flat Earth. Page 35, flat Earth. Government admits flat Earth document number 3 from the U.S. Army, titled An Energy Budget Model to Calculate the Low Atmosphere Profiles of Effective Sound Speed at Night. There's an image in the document where it shows a near and localized sun, corpuscular rays, and a flat Earth. And that again is on page 10. And then if you go to page 16, you see the word flat Earth. Government admits flat Earth document number 4, put out by the United States Army, titled Computationally Efficient Algorithms for Estimating the Angle of Arrival of Helicopters Using Acoustic Arrays. Let's see what it has to say. On page 17, it says flat Earth. Page 30, flat Earth model. Page 31, flat Earth. Page 35, a flat Earth. Government admits flat Earth document number 5. This one is from United States Army, titled Adding Liquid Payloads Effects to the 6DOF Trajectory of Spinning Projectiles. Let's see what it has to say. On page 7, it says, assume a flat Earth. These equations assume a flat Earth. Government admits flat Earth, document number 6. This is put out by the United States Army. In fact, it's the same author as document number 5, Gene R. Cooper. And in fact, the title is almost eerily the same. Though what we'll find is that he didn't make any corrections for assuming a flat Earth. But let's read the title. Trajectory Prediction of Spin-Stabilized Projectiles with a Steady Liquid Payload. What does it say? Page 10. It says these equations assume a flat Earth. Why would you assume a flat Earth if you're on a spinning ball? Government admits flat Earth, document number 7, put out by NASA in August of 1988. Derivation and definition of a linear aircraft model. What does it have to say? Let's see here. Well, starting with page 6, it says this report details the development of the linear model of a rigid aircraft of constant mass flying over a flat, non-rotating Earth. It goes on to say on this same page, by defining the initial conditions of the nominal trajectory for straight and level flight and setting the asymmetric aerodynamic and inertia terms to 0, one can easily obtain the more traditional linear models from the linear model derived in this report. On page 35, it says this report derives and defines a set of linearized system matrices for a rigid aircraft of constant mass flying in a stationary atmosphere over a flat, non-rotating Earth. On page 55, it says based on assumptions of symmetric mass distributions, symmetric aerodynamics, and straight and level flight. And then on page 102, this report documents the derivation and definition of a linear aircraft model for a rigid aircraft of constant mass flying over a flat, non-rotating Earth. Government admits flat Earth, document number 8, put out by NASA, titled General Equations of Motion for a Damaged Asymmetric Aircraft. And on page 2, it states, in this paper, the rigid body equations of motion over a flat, non-rotating Earth. Government admits flat Earth, document number 9, put out by NASA, titled Predicted Performance of a Thrust-Enhanced SR-71 Aircraft with an External Payload. This was put out in June of 1997. And it states, non-rotating Earth. Right there, page 10. And this SR-71 Blackbird has a top speed of 2,193 miles per hour. And it doesn't have to account for a rotation of the Earth, the Coriolis effect, the alleged Coriolis effect, or even the curvature of the Earth at 2,193 miles per hour. Certainly it would have to if it existed, unless it was flying over a flat, non-rotating Earth. Government admits flat Earth, document number 10, put out by the Federal Aviation Administration in conjunction with a company named MITRE. It's derivation of a point mass aircraft model used for fast time simulation. This is from April 2015. It says, assuming a flat, non-rotating Earth, page 7. Government admits flat Earth, document number 11, put out by NASA in conjunction with the University of Kansas. They contracted KU to do this work with them, and it was put out June of 1971. It is titled A Method for Reducing the Sensitivity of Optimal Nonlinear Systems to Parameter Uncertainty. Let's see what it has to say. Page 14. It says the idealizing assumptions made are the following. Number 2 is a flat, non-rotating Earth. Government admits flat Earth, document number 12, put out by NASA. It is titled Calculation of Wind Compensation for Launching of Unguided Rockets. And on page 8 and 10, we have a diagram as well as it states the missile position in space is computed relative to a flat, non-rotating Earth. Government admits flat Earth, document number 13, put out by NASA, December of 1987, titled User's Manual for Linear A Fortran Program to Derive Linear Aircraft Models. And it states on page 16, a rigid aircraft flying in a stationary atmosphere over a flat, non-rotating Earth. Government admits flat Earth, document number 13, put out by NASA, December of 1987, titled User's Manual for Linear A Fortran Program to Derive Linear Aircraft Models. And it states on page 16, a rigid aircraft flying in a stationary atmosphere over a flat, non-rotating Earth. Government admits flat Earth document number 14 put out by NASA in 1988. In fact, it looks like to be an updated version from the document number 13 that I just went over. Same authors and almost the same exact, if not same exact title, which is User's Manual for Interactive Linear, a Fortran program to derive linear aircraft models. And it states on page 4, equations with stationary atmosphere and flat, non-rotating Earth assumptions. Same thing as in document 13, same authors, basically same title. They didn't make any adjustment. Going on to page 126, it states the same thing, stationary atmosphere and flat, non-rotating Earth assumptions. Doesn't look like they made a mistake with that documentation there. Government admits flat Earth, document number 15 put out by NASA. This was put out in March of 1972 and it is titled Determination of Angles of Attack and Side Slip from Radar Data and a Roll Stabilized Platform. What does it have to say? Well, page 2, it states the method is limited, however, to application where a flat, non-rotating Earth may be assumed. If it's limited to that assumption and the Earth is a spinning ball, then this document is garbage unless the Earth is truly flat and non-rotating. Government admits flat Earth document number 16 put out by NASA. It's titled U.S. Standard Atmosphere. What does it have to say? Well, on page 22, it says for the accuracy required in this document, it suffices to treat the surface as an ellipsoid whose flattening ellipticity. That means they had to flatten the globe. Why would you have to do that? For accuracy, maybe because the Earth is flat. Government admits flat Earth document number 17 put out by NASA in December of 1991 titled An Aircraft Model for the AIAA Controls Design Challenge. And what does it have to say? On page 13, it states the flight dynamics of a rigid aircraft flying in a stationary atmosphere over a flat, non-rotating Earth. Government admits flat Earth document number 18 put out by NASA. This was in December of 1978, titled Investigation of Aircraft Landing in Variable Wind Fields. And what does it have to say? On page 14, it states, the aircraft trajectory model employed in this study was derived based on the following assumptions. A. The Earth is flat and non-rotating. Government admits flat Earth document number 19 put out by NASA titled A Mathematical Model of the CH-53 Helicopter. And it states on page 25, the helicopter equations of motion are given in body axes with respect to a flat, non-rotating Earth. Government admits flat Earth document number 20 put out by NASA titled Development and Validation of a Piloted Simulation of a Helicopter and External Sling Load. Well, what does it have to say? Well, on page 6, it states a general set of nonlinear rigid body equations of motion for both the helicopter and external load determines the motion of each vehicle with respect to a flat, non-rotating Earth. It states on page 37, the equations of motion for both the helicopter and the external sling load are developed in body axes with respect to a flat, non-rotating Earth. On page 48, it states the terrain is generally flat. Government admits flat Earth document number 21, put out by NASA and the U.S. Air Force in conjunction with research provided by Georgia Tech. And it is titled Atmospheric Oscillations. Well, on page 13, it states a model frequently used is that of a flat, non-rotating Earth. Also states the most one can profitably simplify the problem is to consider an isothermal atmosphere, plane level surfaces, and a non-rotating Earth. Government admits flat Earth document number 22 put out by NASA titled Stability and Control Estimation Flight Test Results for the SR-71 aircraft with externally mounted experiments. And what does it have to say? Well, it states on page 18 and 19, if you put them together, because there's a break in the paragraph, it states these equations assume a rigid vehicle and a flat, non-rotating Earth. Not very safe for a vehicle that travels at a top speed of 2,193 miles per hour. Government admits flat Earth document number 23, put out by NASA in May of 1988, titled Flight Testing a VSTOL aircraft to identify a full envelope aerodynamic model. And it states, motion over a flat, non-rotating Earth, page 9 of 18. Government admits flat Earth document number 24 put out by NASA. It is titled Singular Arc Time Optimal Climb Trajectory of Aircraft in a Two-Dimensional Wind Field. What does it have to say? It states on page 2, in our minimum time to climb problem, the aircraft is modeled as a point mass of the flight trajectory is strictly confined in a vertical plane on a non-rotating flat Earth. Government admits flat Earth document number 25. This is put out by the United States Navy and it is titled Studies on Instabilities in Long Baseline Two-Way Satellite Time and Frequency Transfer, including a troposphere delay model. And what does it have to state? It states on page 2, it shows a graphic which shows two ground stations on equal level ground. Both ground stations on the same flat plane. And then on page 6, it states assuming a flat Earth and the straight line of sight. Line of sight, just so you know, line of sight does not apparently exist when you're looking over the Earth. And I'm going to get to that in another document pretty soon. Government admits flat Earth document number 26, United States Army. It is titled Scale Insensitive Detection Algorithm for FLIR Imagery. What does it have to state? It states that in other scenarios, only the range to the center of the field of view and depression's angle is known, so that a flat Earth approximation provides the best estimate. That is page 6 of 22. Government admits flat Earth document number 27, put out again by the United States Army, and it is titled User Manual for the Microsoft Windows edition of the Scanning Fast Field Program version 3.0. What does it have to say? Well, it says on page 45 of 47, this model works over a flat and non-turbulent atmosphere. Government admits flat Earth document number 28, put out by the United States Army, titled Path Loss Measurements in a Forested Environment at VHF. And what do we have to find in here? But it states on page 8, flat Earth, page 16, over a flat Earth, page 17, over flat Earth, page 18, over flat Earth, page 19, over flat Earth, page 20, based on flat Earth theory, not a theory, it's fact. Page 23, over flat Earth, page 25, flat Earth, page 26, flat Earth, page 35, over flat Earth, stated twice. Government admits flat Earth document number 29. This is the U.S. Air Force who contracted Brown University to put forth the document titled Review of Sound Propagation in the Lower Atmosphere, documented in May 1955. So what does it say on page 18? It says, in most of the topics to be discussed, the problem is to describe the sound field in a region of atmosphere above a flat Earth. And then it goes on to cite, in page 208, cite a document, an article that was written in 1954 in Physica XX, and it is titled The Extension of Summerfield's Formula for the Propagation of Radio Waves Over a Flat Earth to Different Conductivities of the Soil. So you may want to research that one a little bit further. Government admits flat Earth document number 30, put out by the United States Army, entitled Beacon Position and Altitude Navigation aided by a magnetometer, and it states on page 11, it says that the first is the Earth Fixed Coordinate System, which is fixed to the Earth with a flat Earth assumption. And just check out the diagram that they have associated with it. Are you serious? Government admits flat Earth document number 31, put out by the United States Army, and it is titled Automatic Target Acquisition of the Demo 3 program. And it states on page 9, only the range to the center of the field of view and the depression angle is known, so that a flat Earth approximation provides the best estimate.